Failure at 40.
Failure at 40.
Can you still be fulfilled at 40 without the partner, without the children, the career, or the beautiful home, all in the picture?
Failure at 40 interviews, debates, and discusses the reality of turning 40.
Obviously, I've had a lot of different setbacks here and there, but that's all part of the journey. But yeah, belief in yourself is everything. It really is.
Failure at 40.
What you want, you can have. You just need to write it down, picture it, believe it for yourself, and then just let it go.
Failure at 40.
Failure at 40 challenges the notion of failure and redefines what success looks like to you.
Who says if you haven't reached all of your goals by 40 that you are not a success?
Failure at 40 interviews, debates, and discusses the reality of turning 40 in modern Britain. Welcome to Failure at 40.
Hi guys, welcome back to Failure at 40. I'm Winnie, the producer.
And I'm Shelley, the life coach.
And today we're speaking to Alex Faleye. Alex is 42, he has 2 daughters, lives in South London, and is an entrepreneur. Welcome to the podcast, Alex. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having me, everyone.
How are you, Alex? Welcome.
I'm good. Well, considering all despite these times, I'm very good. I'm more excited than anything, to be honest with you.
Amazing. We're really looking forward to talking to you today. And off with that, I suppose we'll just kick off and run into it. So if you think back a little bit into your teens and your 20s, take us back through your storyline of, what your expectations and vision was of when you turned 40. What would your life be like at 40?
From a young age, I was always kind of considered the outsider, like an outcast. I didn't really fit in with many people when I was younger. I was a bit different in terms of the way I did things. But yeah, I was always I had a strong imagination of where I would be when I was older. Everyone has that vision of having that dream life. But I never realized that to get to that life, you have to take some certain steps. And, when you're young, you don't think about those steps. You just think, that's everyone's going to have that. So I'm going to have it too. So yeah, I thought it was a given, really. I didn't think you had to really work as hard as you really do to achieve the things you want to achieve. And I guess when you're younger as well, you tend to follow the crowd a bit more. When I left school, did art and design in college, and then I didn't do university. I didn't want to do university. I just thought I'm just going to go and work because I just wanted to make money. So left college when I was 19. Worked in a sports shop for about 2 years. Jumped from retail job to retail job. Never had any direction of again what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a graphic designer because I actually turned out to be quite good at art. Left college, worked for various different retail places, and then landed in a estate agency when I was 24. Had no idea about a estate agency. My friend just said, okay, I've got this, I'm working here. They're always looking for new people. I'm going to see if I can get you a job. Had the interview, got the job, kind of fell into it. I wasn't really taught what to do, kind of learned from other people in the company. And then finished, in my first year, I finished, I think 5th out of the whole company in sales. And this is something I've never done before. So that's when I kind of realized that, even if you don't know how to do something, if you've got a desire to learn, everything you need will come to you when you just believe you can do it. And that's from a young age, I knew that imagination and just thinking you can, even though you don't know how, that how will turn up. And that's kind of how I've lived my life up until now. Just believing in myself. Obviously, I've had a lot of different setbacks here and there, but that's all part of the journey. But yeah, belief in yourself is everything. It really is.
And did you know what you wanted to be by 40, or what you'd like to have had by 40?
Yeah, I think from when I was around 30, 31, 32, I remember writing down, this is what I would like to have by 40. I think it was actually by 35. I said, this is what I wanted to be by 35. It wasn't by 40. Then I got to 35 and I hadn't achieved none of those things that that I said I wanted.
You wrote it down?
Yeah, I did write it down. Actually, no, sorry. No, when I was 32, no, I hadn't written it down at 32. It's at 34, I wrote down what I wanted. I remember I wrote it on notes on my phone, funny enough. And I remember, and this is around the time I started reading books in personal development. Actually, prior to that, in my 20s, I started reading different books, but weren't applying what I was reading.
So what would have been on that vision board then for 35 or even 40? What would you?
I think it was actually just a 3-bed house, a car, a house with a drive, nice girlfriend, a child. It's just like I said, everything that you envision when you're younger that older people have. You're like, I'd like to have that, and you just kind of that's what I wrote down. But yeah, when I got to 34, it still wasn't there. I hadn't written that down by when I was before 34. I hadn't written anything down. I just kind of thought about things, but I never wrote anything. So when I wrote something down is when things started to materialize.
Oh.
And I'd read that before so many times. You know, if you don't write it down, it's just a wish. It's not a real desire, or it's not nothing concrete. You're just hoping. It's when you write down and you sit down and you write down exactly what you want. You don't have to kind of dream about it all day, but it has to cross your mind more often than not in terms of the things you want. And the things just start to happen miraculously. It's just I won't go into the mysticism behind law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. That's for another podcast. This one is just keeping it simple in terms of what you want, you can have. You just need to write it down, picture it, believe it for yourself, and then just let it go. When I say let it go, I just mean don't get over anxious when it doesn't appear the next day.
Just give it to the universe almost.
Yeah, just leave it up to, just go about your general work as best as you can, and things will start to happen from there. I mean, I'm going to go back to where I was an estate agent, and I started at 24. I think after around 4 years of being an estate agent, I was in the company for 2 years, left there, became self-employed. Had no idea, like I was very, very scared that I didn't have a regular income no more. This is the time I actually had my first child. So I left my job just before my first child was born. She's 14 this year. So 26, I'm calling landlords from the loot, and I picked this up from somebody else that was...
Is the loot still out? Is the loot still going?
No, not now, but back then.
I know.
Paper where landlords used to put in their properties to rent privately because they didn't want to use the agent. Oh my gosh,
yeah, the loot.
And this guy I remember him telling me, do you know how to do lettings? I'm like, no, I've only done sales for Acorn. It's a well-known estate agency in South East London. That was that for 2 years. So I was only doing sales there. But when I left, somebody told me lettings was much faster money. You can make a lot of money really quick. And I was working with another guy that used to work for Acorn. He started his own online estate agency. I was doing sales with him for a bit. And then that company fell apart, and he decided he wasn't going to do estate agency no more. So I was on my own. I had a taste of freedom. So working with him and earning sometimes double what I earned for the company. He would basically get the properties on. I would go do the viewings, and I'd get like 50% commission split, which was like, again, equivalent to a possible 2 months salary with what I was earning as an agent working 9 hours a day. So I had that taste of freedom, and because I had my first child, and I was able to go and see my daughter whenever I wanted. I didn't have to ask anyone's permission. From then, I knew I couldn't work for anybody else. Once you get a taste of not having to answer anyone and actually creating income from yourself and your own abilities, something inside you clicks, and you realize, you know what? I can't do. I will never go back to work for somebody else. And from there, I didn't. And I helped set up a company called Fish Need Water. It was an estate agency in East Dulwich. And I helped set that up from 2012 to 2014. And that was just basically with the knowledge I've learned how to get properties on the market. I was really, really, really good at cold calling landlords and getting properties on. I advertised the properties on Gumtree. I took the calls from people who wanted to view the property to rent. I went out there in my car, drove all over the place, Southwest London, Southeast London, showing properties for these different landlords and creating my own income stream from that. Sometimes there was good months, sometimes there was bad months, but I just love the challenge. I love working for myself. But even then, I was still thinking that I wanted to earn an income from home. How can I learn how to make money online? So I dabbled in finding these different affiliate marketing ventures and failed in pretty much everything I tried to do online, continuing to do what I was doing in the estate agency, but lived that laptop lifestyle where I could make income from home on the side and finally maybe exceed my property income and give up property and work from home. And failed miserably for years trying to do that. Lost lots of money here and there. Again, that's just where my resilience for failure came from failing way back then when I was in my 20s and early 30s.
You're not tempted to go back to job security?
I wasn't. I mean, even when there was really hard times where I'm not going to lie, I was doing some stupid. I had to move back. I had to move out of my property that I bought while I was at Acorn. I bought a 2-bed ex-local property in when I was 28 in Lewisham. So I was living there, and then when income was really bad, I moved back to my mum's house in Lee. I'd rented my property out in Lewisham because obviously I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage every month. Because some months were good, some months were bad, but I couldn't stay there and be up and down with the mortgage. So I left there, had the consistent rent coming in. Well, I'd do dumb shit like use the rent payment, not pay the mortgage, and live off it. I was doing dumb shit like that. I wasn't very savvy with my money. Got into really bad credit. Worst it got was 4 months behind in my mortgage. My mum had to bail me out of that, help me out. I've had my fair share of failure. Funny enough, I'm actually talking about it and thinking about those times there. It was very, very difficult. It was very difficult. I remember times I didn't want to wake up in the morning. When I did wake up, I was like, oh God, what? I can't keep cold calling these landlords. It's getting harder and harder. It's getting more competitive because every other Tom, Dick and Harry new agent was doing the same thing I'm doing. So landlords would give the property to 4 different agents, and so you're competing with all these different agents, running out there, seeing 4 different agents at the property, so showing your customer who you'd called earlier on. I mean, I went through the lot when I was in there.
It's a competitive industry. It's
very competitive, very cutthroat. It was. I got into a lot of arguments with different agents who said they'd rented the property and we're not going to give you the keys and all kind of craziness. But again, I refused to quit because I wanted my freedom, and that was the only way of earning income that I knew how to do, because I just kind of picked it up from this guy that taught me. But I was still thinking, maybe I could start my own estate agency and leverage myself and have employees working for me doing what agents do when they leave a company. They set up on their own, they have the employees working for them, they become the director and they don't do the running around anymore. But I just couldn't see how that was going to happen. And the reason why I started with Fish Need Water, because I helped start that company, I felt like that was my way I was going to actually build up a company. I wasn't a co-director or anything. I was I was the valuer. I was the person that goes out and does the valuations, get property on for sale, get properties on for rent, negotiate the fee. All this stuff I picked up myself. I didn't learn it from anybody. Speaking to people about why we're better than, with a name like Fish Need Water, why would we choose you over KFH or Ludlow Thompson or Foxton's up the road? I had to compete with these guys to get properties on the market, but I was, you have to be unique and you have to be hungry. So I'd tell landlords or vendors as well, I get more for the property. We'll do a sliding scale. We'll start our fee at this price, and if we get this amount for you, we'll charge you this. So I run a lot of my business based on just being myself and being as convincing as possible. And a lot of the properties that we did get on, we did sell. So, you know, it was a very good experience building that company up and helping them. And they're still going today. I mean, they're still doing sales and lettings, but mainly they have got a good portfolio of management properties. So, yeah, it was a good experience actually setting up and helping set up that company with 2 directors.
I wanted to ask you something, Alex, about something you said earlier on, and that was about you being sort of different and feeling a bit like an outcast and an outsider in lots of ways. Was that an outsider of your peer group or outsider in your family group, or where did that feeling come from, or that idea that you were one?
To be honest with you, I don't even know where that feeling came from, because I had a good amount of friends. I just felt different. I just felt like I wasn't the same. Things people used to say, I just didn't agree with certain times. And I wondered why I didn't agree with it. So, and you know, there'd be a group of them that would say, why do you think that? Why do you say that? Or I questioned everything, put it that way.
Do you think that has contributed to the way your life has become, or the way that maybe you're not part of the flock in terms of thinking the way everybody else, I don't want to say everybody, I say that loosely, but the majority of people might think, okay, I need to have a 9 to 5. That's the only way I can survive. Well, actually, you're like, well, no, it's bigger than that. And I'm confident that I'm different and I can maintain my own income for myself.
Yeah.
I just wonder if some of that difference has led to that thought pattern.
I think so. I think potentially that, like I said, I was always imagining how I could be, how my life would be when I was older. When I was a young age, I was imagining how I would be able to travel whenever I wanted. Didn't know it in terms of what capacity, in terms of what job I would be doing to allow me to do that, or what business I would be doing. But I always had high hopes for myself, and I think a lot of children do if they're. I mean, I'm coming from a single parent background. I don't know my dad at all. So he left when I was 1. So my mum, she raised me best I could. You know, like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes. I don't know any child, or boy or girl, young, that hasn't made any mistakes. That's all part of life. So always had a vision of a better future for myself. I'm not liking to people that were very negative about the future. And I always wondered why they were negative about the future. And a lot of the times it's, you know, who they live with, their peer group and their family.
And as you approach 40, how did life start to transpire from, you know, being in a position where actually you're moving out of your place that you live in, you know, you've had your daughter, you know, you've moved back to mum's. I'm thinking at some point there was a shift for you and you had a different vision for yourself.
Yeah, there was a big shift. I mean, the shift came when I left Fish Need Water in 2014. So by this time I was back on my feet. I was back in my flat. I was earning regular income. They paid, look, this is what the point I was making in terms of, she asked if I went back, did I ever get tempted to go back? So when I went back to Fish Need Water, they had me on a kind of a low basic salary of, I think, £1,000. And then every property that I got on, we sold, I got a good commission off that property. So I was getting paid a regular steady income from them. But I didn't have to be in at a certain time. I had free reign. But one of the directors beginning to become more like a boss and talk down to me. And this went on for around, I'd say 3 months, maybe 3 or 4 months before I left. So I was there for around 2 years as well. Again, during that time, I'm still not giving up hope of finding the holy grail of internet marketing, or something that some way I can make an income from home. And yeah, still failing, still spending money on this course, that course, and this person, that person, and failing. So yeah, I left there in 2014. That's when I realized that the estate agency wasn't for me anymore. And I was going to find something that I was passionate about in terms of thousands of ways of making an income from home. It was for me finding that right vehicle that I could get into. And that's when I stumbled across e-commerce. paid the guy £1,000 to learn from him. Again, if someone shows me how to do something, I'll pick it up and I'll run with it. That's just how I've been for years. So I learned from him. I'd already had dabbled in Facebook ads when I was trying to do this internet marketing thing. So I picked up e-commerce, started selling a few products from China, and I was still in my flat at this time. And this is around the time that I've met Patricia, who I'm still with now. This was one of the things that I'd written down, funny enough. I remember sitting in my flat in Lewisham and saying, I want a really nice girlfriend who loves me for who I am. I want a 3-bed house in Surrey with a drive, and I want an Audi S3. One of the directors bought an Audi S3, a black one, and I went with him to get it. And from that day, I went with him to get it. I said, I'm going to get one of these. I remember it very well. I'm going to get one.
And you did?
Yeah, I did. I did a couple of years after I did. And this is all from e-commerce. I did an amazing year. My second year of e-commerce, made more money than I've ever made in my life, and put a good chunk of it into buying a property with Patricia. I moved out of my flat. Yeah, all this time I was working with Fish League. I was living in her grandparents' property that was rented. So it was always the goal to get out of there and move to the house. But again, this was something that I'd written down, that I wanted a 3-bed house in Surrey. I wasn't specific enough. That's the problem. And I ended up in Mitcham, which is Surrey. See? It's not that bad, but yeah. In the nice part of Mitcham now, we bought a 3-bed house in the nice part of Mitcham with a drive, and I bought myself an Audi S3, a black one, the same one that my boss had bought.
And am I right in thinking that you've met Patricia, but are you both of the same mindset? Are you both entrepreneurial?
Yeah, she owns a nursery. She owns a nursery now. She was working as a paralegal when I met her, traveling to Victoria every day. I was working with the estate agency. So we both, done the 9-to-5 things, as per se, in terms of going out in the morning at the same time. Or she'd leave before me. And then I'd go to Dulwich to do my estate agency and I'd get back at around 7, she'd be home. I thought I'd found that life, and then so I'd got what I'd asked for in terms of the girlfriend. I wasn't quite in the house. I was living in a granddad's 2-bed cottage, but it was still in Surrey. And then, I did that amazing year of e-commerce after I'd left Fish League Water. We bought the house together. She already owns a property, so she pulled out money from that. We bought the house together, the 3-bed house here with a drive. And was just been doing e-commerce ever since. So I was with her 5 years, had a daughter, and now it's going to be 7 years this year. And
what was the product that made you have your best year, Alex? What was it you're selling?
It was one product. I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, one idea can make you a million. No, this idea didn't make me a millionaire, but it did make me a whole lot of money. And it was just these car door lights. When you open the car door, that was one of the biggest selling products. And I would have sold a ton more had I known what I know now in terms of upsells and side cross-sells and email marketing and so on and so forth. The biggest month was, I think I cleared around £120,000 in
a month.
In the month. And I think the month after that I did about 80,000. So I think that whole year, with all the other products I sold, I did around £400,000, which is the most money I'd ever made in my life.
Sorry, what did you say? It was a car door light?
Car door light. Car door lights where you open the door and the logo is on the floor. So
that made you £400,000? Yeah,
I was selling
more than.
Back then, it was really easy to sell trademark products on Facebook, and the car door lights were of different NFL teams. So I was targeting all these different NFL fans,
from around the world.
Seattle Seahawks, Chicago, all these Chicago Bears, all these NFL teams, I would advertise the video in front of those specific fans, because I knew how to advertise on Facebook. You can target anyone on Facebook. So I was just targeting these different fans. And yeah, it was just, my phone would be chinging all day. And I remember waking up one day to 20. I remember one day saying to my girlfriend, saying to her, I can't wait till I see £1,000 a day. Because I remember the first day when I started, I was making £50 a day here and there, £100 a day, £200 a day. Started going up as I started increasing my ad spend. And then I learned more about what products to sell, what products are trending, and so on and so forth. Like I said, I picked up everything myself. I learned from different videos, and I didn't have to go to no course. I just picked up everything that I needed to pick up and started selling these different products. So the car door lights was a hot seller of the month because NFL season just started. And yeah, I woke up to £22,000 one day after I told my girlfriend I'd be happy, no, $22,500 to be back, which is about £80,000. Profit was around £15,000.
And you were sleeping while you made this?
I was sleeping while that was happening. I woke up and I was like, oh, look at this. And I remember telling her I can't wait to hit £1,000. I cleared that long ago. So I was doing regular £1,000 days here and there with other products. But then this one hit the jackpot. And yeah, that's where I got the money from for the property. And hopefully NFL don't come after me for this. I don't hear this podcast. Good boy. That was back then, man. That was just can't come for me now. Can't come for me now. So yeah, that was one of the many products that did really well. And then started doing like customized jewelry for different niches, and that's kind of brought me to where I am now.
Niches?
Niches, different.
Oh,
niches.
sorry. Oh.
I thought you said something else.
I didn't think
niches. Some people say niche. Sorry, niche.
Oh, okay.
Niche. I say niche. Some people say niche.
Jewelry for different bitches. You sound like Dave
Yeah. So yeah, doing e-commerce. This is where it's kind of brought out my creative side. I've realized that I really love creating products that people can't get anywhere else. I've done really well with different jewelry, different welders' helmets, motorcycle helmets, T-shirts, just different things that I've kind of created and then put out there. It really saw that my passion for e-commerce, I don't think will ever die, to be honest with you, even though I love Forex as well. Forex is just a vehicle. Doesn't allow you to be creative. You just, know where to buy, know where to sell, boom, boom, boom. My creative side won't go away. So that's where I'm challenging myself in e-commerce still. So those are the two things that I mainly do at the moment, e-commerce and Forex. And I invest in various different internet marketing vehicles as well that we won't get into now. But yeah.
Failure at 40.
You told us that one of your visions, or that your main vision, was to have this house. You've got it. The girlfriend, you've got it. The successful career that's worked out. You're selling really well online, and you've got the Forex thing. So, does this vision of 40 match what you was hoping? Is this it for you?
No. I mean, in terms of just the things I wanted, just in general, I've traveled to a lot of places. I wanted to travel to various different places. There's a lot more places I do want to travel to, but travel was one of my big things. That, working from home has allowed me to travel to America a number of times, Tampa, Florida, Dubai a few times. I've done a lot of the things that I really wanted to do. I bought the house. I sold my property, so I did want another property. I wanted more properties under my belt, which I don't have at the moment, but that's, these are just material things. Where I'm at now is because I've achieved what I've achieved, I'm not where I want to be financially right now, not yet. but it's a work in progress. But the main thing that I do have is peace of mind and freedom. And when I say freedom, I don't mean freedom is in terms of if I don't do anything now, I can just be comfortable. No, I mean freedom of just not being tied to a specific time frame or job that or boss. That freedom I do have. And that is something that I had said to myself from way back then that I wouldn't trade for anything. Even though things have been tough lately because I've been transitioning, wasn't sure whether I wanted to carry on with e-commerce, lost a bunch of money with various different investments. You know, things haven't gone great over the last year. And obviously with COVID coming in right now and all these different things, it has been challenging still. And, you know, I don't know any entrepreneur or even person working 9 to 5. I don't think there's no one this hasn't really affected in one way, shape or form, even though even people that are financially sound have still been affected in some way, shape or form with the social distancing and whatever, what have you. Their businesses have been affected. Where some small niches of businesses have taken off in terms of mask sales, a lot of businesses have, you know, fallen by the wayside or struggling. I'm just grateful that I'm not in a position where I'm worried about my employees and my staff and this, that, and the other. I don't have any, because I work for myself and I'm just kind of transitioning. I have enough money to cover me, but I have enough ideas and things going for me that is going to bring in more income in the coming weeks and months. So I'm securing my mindset because I know what I'm capable of. I think that's one of the things that I'm really happy that I have is that I don't worry about money in terms of creating income. I think that if you're short of ideas, then you're short of income. If you've got ideas, you can create income. That's just how I think. Because I've thought that way has allowed me to get to where I am and not have to worry about where I'm going next. I'm more focused now on creating a situation where I can give more, because I think most of us as people, and you can probably attest to this, and most of us are obviously looking out for ourselves and our family. The number one person that most people are thinking about is themselves in terms of how am I going to pay my mortgage, my rent, my bills, my car note? How am I going to pay all these bills? Me, which is fair enough. I understand that we all have bills to pay and we all have a life to live. But where I'm at now is where I'm focusing more on creating a situation where I can give more to less fortunate. Opportunities come at me that are allowing me to do that. That's the difference I'm finding with where I'm at now.
But do you also find that you were saying having ideas, if you have ideas, you can have income. But do you also find there's something in, you said you're sustaining your mindset, in confidence? I think people may have ideas, but they're not always confident at executing those ideas.
Yeah, I totally understand that, because and the confidence or the lack of confidence comes from not knowing, and I understand that too, because a lot of people don't know. They have an idea, but I was having this conversation with my daughter earlier on in the car on the way home. Most
14-year-old, yes.
14-year-old, yeah. I'm always educating her on the paradigm, which is a multitude of habits. I'm schooling her on different things that I'm learning, so she can learn it from now, and then by the time she's 20, she would be so much more farther ahead than most 20-year-olds.
And at 14, she's probably formulating all those ideas now, isn't she?
Yeah. Now she
questions and
one of the things, she does want to work for herself because she sees the freedom that I have. And my other daughter's mother, because she works in a nursery, but she's got 10 employees, so she doesn't have to go to work. She just kind of oversees everything, so she's got a lot more freedom as well. But yeah, so I'm big on instilling my children with the same things that I've learned over the years, because confidence is very, very key, and faith. Not knowing how you're going to do something doesn't mean it can't happen.
Where did it come from for you? Because you talked about coming from a single parent home and your friends thinking differently to you. What was different about you and where you'd come from that gave you, I guess, what you're instilling into your daughter now? Where did you get it from?
Books.
From a young age, you've always been reading?
Yeah, I would say I started probably at 21, 22 when I first discovered network marketing, which is a way to, again, from back then, it's funny, it's just, I can't believe it's been years. So from 21, I've always had an entrepreneurial mind. I think before that, it was just like finding my feet, what am I going to do? But I think from 21, when I discovered network marketing, I was introduced to some sort of product and a way to make money from, all these people in your organization, tell this person, tell that person, they tell, the whole network marketing thing. People today still call them pyramid schemes. It's hilarious because most jobs are pyramid schemes, which is with no rank for no way of advancement to where the CEO is. Whereas network marketing is a perfectly legitimate business that allows you to become your own CEO and build your own organization of customers and distributors. But most people still got that stigma about it. But anyway, that's another problem.
And what I remember about you, Alex, is that you were always a sharer of knowledge. Like, you didn't just get your knowledge and keep it to yourself. You were always very willing to share.
No, because it excited me. It excites me when I practice what I've been learning and it works. And then, I'm like, wow, well, it's not that difficult to think positive and write down what you want and then not know how to do it. But things just start happening. It's just, this is what I'm trying to get at. The not knowing doesn't mean that it can't happen.
That it's not happening.
It's not happening. You can have a great idea. And then most people, what they do is, I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I've got this job. I've got these kids. They make up all type of excuses of the things that will get in their way of why they can't do it. But not realizing if they just kind of carry on doing what you're doing, make time for the things you need to do to obviously create the idea, but then realize that you have to have faith that the how and the money will come if you're passionate about your idea. If you're really serious about your idea and you can see that it would benefit a lot of people, including yourself and your family and everyone around you. I don't care what idea it is. If you believe in it that much and it can work, then the how and the money will turn up.
You said something earlier, Alex, that I wanted to pick up on, and you were saying you were going through all these different ways to make money through e-commerce while you were still working in estate agents. And you use the term, I just kept failing and failing, and I kept failing and I kept failing. And what it sounded to me like is that you weren't failing, but you were learning that way wasn't working. So you tried something different and you tried something different until something worked for you. Yeah. But you didn't give up and you didn't stop. You just continue to try and find different avenues. And I think that's where the average person might run into a wall. Yeah, a few failures or a few trip ups or a few things that haven't come into fruition or lots that haven't come into fruition. They tend to feel their self-esteem is probably quite low. Maybe their finances are quite low, and they find themselves back in bed with the man on the 9 to 5, right? Because it will give them the stability they're used to. Yeah. When really it's about continuing to keep driving towards maybe what you would like.
Yeah, and another thing is a lot of people they try different things, try different ideas, and they think that because that idea didn't work, that's it. That I don't know what to do next because that idea didn't work. I was passionate about that, but I think it's what you need to do in that situation is. Again, it's about, I don't want to get into the mysticism part of the law of attraction and just putting energy out there. But you don't have to know, you don't necessarily know exactly what it is that you want to do. All you got to ask a couple of questions. What am I passionate about? Even if I don't have anything that I'm passionate about right now, what's the life I actually want to live? What would I be doing that can create this kind of lifestyle? Because I'm assuming most people want to do what they really love to do, because that's really where ideas really spark from, is having an idea of what you really love to do. And a lot of people, don't have an idea of what they love to do. So they think that success is not for them because they haven't found it yet. Again, this age of 40 plus, they think that because they haven't found their passion yet, that they've failed or they're a failure, which is not the truth.
And I think what I kind of learned about your story is that your vision has continuously been evolving as you moved through your life.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily have your vision and then decide, I need that, but you've gone through lots of different paths and journeys, and you might have had twists and turns, but your vision's evolving all the time.
It is evolving. Yeah, it is evolving. Like I said, it wasn't before when I first started e-commerce. It was more about me, how I can create income for myself and more time for myself, and be able to travel more and spend more time with my family. Now it's more about help. How can I not only help others find what it is that they want to do, so they can create that lifestyle that they want for themselves, whether it be to travel, spend more time with their family, and whatever it is they want to do, or pursue a hobby, a passion of theirs that they can pursue full time. My goal now is to inspire people to first of all do that through things like this podcast and other means, but also give to charities less, for people of colour, the whole movement of Black people in general, not the Black Lives Matter organisation, but I'm very passionate about helping Black people move forward and create more unity going forward, like Indian people do, Chinese people do. They all help each other move forward. Black people, I don't know, there is organisations that are moving forward, but as a whole, we're not there yet.
And I also find a lot of, and I mean, this is going to be a general and very sweeping statement, but I'm going to make it anyway, a lot of well-to-do people who are not necessarily of celebrity status, but in the UK who have made money. There's lots of Black millionaires in the UK who are doing well, multimillionaires, but they don't necessarily share some of the insight you shared with us today, from very humble beginnings to the very kind of like basic things of just writing something down, and not necessarily feeling that you've got to attack it every day, but you need to just put it out there and then diligently get on with your life and work towards
it. Let it come to you.
And then be living, a living testimony to say, because I've done that. So I can tell you that this works. And I feel like a lot of people, once they've made something, they keep it within their circles. They don't let it filter out to those people who are less likely to know.
No, I think the more you give of yourself, the more you understand yourself. That's my thing. I mean, you can't keep in this knowledge of how you got to where you are, or you can't keep it to yourself. It's basically, like I said, from books that I've read, videos that I've watched, audios that I've listened to. I'm always into personal development. I've been into it for years. There was a lot of times where I didn't practice what I was learning, but it's only over the last few years I've really kind of implemented learning about the subconscious mind and our habits and why we do what we do and why we don't do what we don't do, and so on and so forth. So, I think a lot of people think education finishes at university and college or whatever. It doesn't. It really that's academic education. Self-education will really take you to the next level.
One of the things I found is when I went to university, I felt like it eroded a lot of my creativity, a lot of the things that I was passionate about and fiery about as a young person coming out of college. As soon as I went into university, a lot of it became much more stunted for me personally. And I felt like I needed to join the labor market. I needed to learn to get into that, even though I didn't want to. But I felt very pushed into, if I want to earn, this is going to be the way to earn, even though I was very sure I wanted to be a business person. Right. But I felt like some of that got chipped away, because education, academia, to some degree, even though it teaches you how to critique things, it teaches you from an academic standpoint. And if anything, that took away some of what I believe was what you need to help you stay driven?
Yeah, I think that, again, most entrepreneurs that are successful dropped out of university, or most of them didn't go. I think the education that they give you in universities is mundane. It's not really real world stuff. I mean, I never understood how there was a class called business studies. I mean, or business management. I mean, if the person teaching the class was a real business person, they'd be in a business, right? Like, I never understood. I always wondered, what do they teach people in business studies? I don't understand. Like, just basically profit and loss forecasting and stuff like that. That's not business. That's just the numbers. Real business is learned from getting in business, not going to university or college to study it. So I just think university and college is it teaches people how to work for other people. That's what.
And this is why today's young people, not even children, but young people, young adults are so for this business model, and they're not even touching college or any of those things. They just start. We've got kids on YouTube, millionaires. Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm saying, look at all these girls and these Instagram influencers. I don't knock them, to be honest with you, because they see that there's an opportunity there, and they're just, all right, they're flaunting their assets, but they're creating income, which is what most people want. They want some sort of income stream. A job is not who you are. Most people talk about these high-flying titles and stuff, but they're working all these hours and they're not seeing their family and they're not getting to do the things they really want to do, but they got the title. Really?
Well, the whole wage slave thing, from what we see now and what's happening today in quarantine, this whole economic assault, you see what's happening to people who have been self-sufficient. You can see them wanting to draw people back into some of these very old school sorts of professions that are more controlled.
Well, you can see it now. They're saying, all right, if you can work from home, which most people can, then do so. So now you look at the offices. There's a big shift now. There's going to be lots of people that are not going to be going into work because of obviously what's going on. But after that, companies are going to look at it and be like, oh, well, you know what? We're going to save a lot of money by this department working from home, or this person working from home.
Well, they're already doing that.
Why don't we just outsource it to somebody else in India that can do the same thing? And, people are going to get laid off even more so over the next coming months and years. Well, coming months more so, because companies are going to realize that they could get by and save money by these people working from home. And then a light bulb will switch. And they'll be like, oh, well, we can save money by just outsourcing this to the next country and hiring someone for a third of the price. And lots of companies are already doing that and have done it. So a lot more people are going to be getting laid off and not know what the hell to do with themselves.
Alex, would you encourage your daughter to go to uni?
No.
Would you? No.
If she wants to go, she can go. But I'm not going to tell her you must go, like most people tell their young ones.
And that's usually because parents have no other idea about how.
It's the norm. It's been this way for years.
Yeah.
It's been this way for years. I think we're going through a time now where a lot more older generation are even waking up now because they see what's happening. They see social media. They see all the young people coming up and creating their own brands from nothing, which wasn't possible back in the day. So it's shifting very, very rapidly towards a model where people can create their own identities, they can create their own brands, create their own image, create their own customer base from home without having to do all the academic stuff anymore. Without having to have that stringent, that career of, oh, I do this and, I've been doing this for this company for so many years. They pay me this benefit, these benefits. That's going to go. It really is. I think we're in a new world now. So it's very. That's why I said I'm very excited, because if you don't move with the times, you'll get left behind.
So I think schools are going to have to catch up with that as well, because I think the education system is built to teach kids how to work with someone. not necessarily how to work for themselves because they're not taught.
There's lots of things the education system don't teach. Apart from working for someone, they don't teach kids basic things that I think they should teach in school, is like decision making.
Finance. Yeah.
Not even finance, just decision making, thinking rationally. There's certain things that I think should be taught in school that the average person, the average school board would look at me like, no, these kids, they need to learn this, they need to learn, history, they need to learn mathematics, they need to learn. No, they don't, because a lot of these kids that are making a killing, these doing what they're doing online or whatever, they don't know algebra, they don't know fractions, they don't know all these different terminologies. A lot of them can't even speak properly, but they still have a belief in themselves and a confidence that they can create their own economy on the internet. The things that are being taught in school right now, most kids aren't going to use. So it's a broken model. I think a lot of the things they're teaching in school is to teach them how to be sheep, follow the crowd, go and get yourself a 9-to-5 job, go and get yourself some benefits. You've seen that's not working. Look what's happened.
Like, was there an actual moment where you said, this is enough, I've had enough, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to change my life? Was there a point?
I think one of the biggest points was the time was when I left Fish Need Water. When I left there, I was just kind of like, I'm going to find a way to make money from home, come hell or high water. I'm changing my path. I don't know how. I don't know what is going to, I'm just going to leave. And that's what I did. That's basically what I did. So that's probably the moment.
In conjunction with that same timeline, I'm going to say you've probably met Patricia very close around that time.
Yeah, I met her in 20, what is it now? So it's been 7 years, 2013. 2013? Yeah.
So around that time. So I'm just wondering what kind of impact your partners had for you.
Massively.
And your confidence, your drive, your motivation, you both sound entrepreneurial to me. You're both building an empire. And I just wondered, is she also something that you would say was very relevant towards you becoming the man you are now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She when I left Fish Need Water, she was asking me, what do you intend to do? I said, I just told her I'm going to make this online thing work. I'm going to figure out how to make money from the internet. And some of the things that I was doing, she didn't really believe in, but she believed in me. She didn't believe in the vehicle that I was doing, selling some affiliate marketing products that she thought, you can get the same information for free from YouTube. Why are they charging so much? But little did she know that a lot of these, a lot of it's rehashed information, but it's packaged in a way which, people would pay for. There's a lot of these different online programs that I did try that she didn't believe in. But e-commerce, she understood. She's like, oh, you just put these products on Facebook. People see them, they buy them, you ship it to them. So I understand that. That's like Amazon. Yeah, it's like Amazon. But I had my own store. I had a number of different stores. But I had my own store. I'd advertise that. People would find my store through paid advertising on Facebook, buy the product. So, but during that time, it was still challenging. I would, stay up late at night. Don't go to bed till 3-4 in the morning, figuring out what products to sell, doing product research, listing products, running ads. I was up late nights a lot of the times when I first started in e-commerce. But she supported me. So yeah, she had a massive, she knew what it took. She came to as soon as I got into e-commerce, I went to an event in Florida and she came with me. So that was very, very pivotal because she could see from the beginning what it took. She met certain people that were successful. She knew it wasn't just like, okay, get up in the morning, go to this job, come back and, spend the rest of the evening watching Netflix. It was, it was grind. It was product research. It was dealing with customers. It was shipping stuff. It was dealing with refunds. That's the nature of any e-commerce and retail business is you have to deal with people. So she knew what it took. She knew that, product research and the time that I had to put in was going to take away from spending with her. So she was fine with it. She knew the sacrifice and she reaped the benefits from it. We got a house together. I bought her all kind of clothes, took her on vacation here and there. So she really deserved everything she got.
And she herself was also doing her own thing and able to understand the pressures from her own business, I guess.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because she started the nursery after I had started e-commerce. She started, I think, a year after I was doing e-commerce, or a year and a half. So she knew that if she was going to get support from me, she would obviously have to support me as well. So it was just like but yeah, I supported her all the way. And now she's got 10 staff, or 11 or 12 staff, and about 70 kids. So, and she went through a lot with, because she started the business with her aunt. She fell out with her aunt. She hasn't spoken to her since. So she went through a lot of, I was always there for her.
How do you feel about where you're at now? Like, if you could sum it up, what are your feelings on your age, your job, your family? How do you feel?
I feel good. I mean, these days, my almost 2-year-old is very demanding, extremely demanding. I don't know any other person with a 2-year-old as demanding as Olivia is. She's cute as hell, but she gives me and her mum a hard time. Her behaviour is a bit, questionable. So yeah, it's hard at times juggling her every day and helping out her mum doing what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm in a transition phase now. So where I'm trading takes maybe an hour or two a day. I've just recently thought up a jewelry idea, which I will share with everyone soon. But it's to do with what's going on now in terms of the Black movement. It is a very unique piece of jewelry that I'll be putting out. I'm going to copyright it because I know once people see it, they're going to copyright it. They are going to copy everyone I've shown the jewelry to. I will show you, all of you, when they're made. So I'm very, 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 very excited about the release of all these different designs that are coming out soon. I've basically found my spark in e-commerce again, because again, it allows me to bring out my creative side. Tend to hit on trends and what's trending right now, and it's not been a trend. It's something that's been going on for years, but it's really blown up massively now in terms of the awareness of what Black people go through. So it's very close to my heart, and the jewelry pieces that I'm going to be putting out are going to be speaking to kind of our audience as well as another audience, and kind of integrating the two audiences together. But the jewelry is going to be very, very powerful, and something I think people will really like. But the biggest thing for me is the income that I create from the jewelry will go back to various different Black charities and organisations.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
That sounds exciting.
And helping the homeless, helping as many. Like I said, my where I'm at now is I'm about giving and making an impact on the world. I think that's what I've been put here for. It's just really come to my realization in the last 6 months that I'm put here to impact people in some way, shape, or form, and God is presenting me with these opportunities to do so. I don't know for sure if the jewelry will take off. Everyone I've showed my designs to is very excited. Very excited. They can't wait to get one or one of the designs. So I'm really, really quite confident, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what I'm doing with Forex. I'm in a good place right now. I can't lie. I'm very excited. So yeah.
What do you think the next 10 years looks like? What does 50 look like for you?
Oh, 50. I see me doing the same. I think I'll be in the same industry, but I think now, by the time I'm 40, I'd say the next 5 years, I would like to have made that impact that I'm speaking about now in terms of impacting thousands of lives across the world, through contribution, through doing things like I'm doing now. This is my first interview, so I'd like to do more of these to impact people and inspire people to do more, to think more outside of themselves and think about others first. And then what I really believe is if you really truly want to make a difference in this world and for yourself, start thinking about how you can make a difference for others first, and then God will present you with the opportunity to do so through one business or something that will allow you to do that, and then it will find you. Then you will grab onto it, and then you will basically ride that and live and do the things you want to do for other people. Because once you think about other people first, you'll automatically get what you want. That's what I believe. I think why a lot of people aren't fulfilled as well is they're not contributed enough. They feel they could contribute more, but they don't know how. So focus on that first. Live with the end in mind. Focus on who do you want to contribute to? Who do you want to make a difference to? You don't even need to know how you're going to do it. You will be presented with the idea. You'll get flashes of inspiration that you must act on. Again, this is for another podcast in terms of where your mind can take you and what you can bring into your life through just thinking different thoughts. That's a different podcast. But yeah, I mean, I believe I'll be creating the impact, a bigger impact in the next 5 years. I'd like to speak on stage to a group of people, to an audience of people. I'd like to travel to a lot more countries, impacting people. That's what I see myself doing, and also teaching different strategies to make income as well, not just inspiring people from, this is what I did, but if someone wants to learn, how do you trade? Okay, well, this is how you do it. How do you do e-commerce? Okay, well, this is how you do it. So I want to be able to teach people how to be entrepreneurs in different fields, whatever field they want to do. If they want to learn something that I'm doing, fair enough. But I also want to inspire people to educate themselves more and pick up books. Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, Science of Getting Rich. Watch audios on YouTube. The information, everything is there for you to tap into. It's just, that's what you've got to do. You've got to educate yourself on yourself.
So Alex, lastly, looking back on everything and where you are now, what advice do you think you would give to your younger self?
I'll tell my younger self to pick up books, pick up a book earlier, learn more about yourself and about the mind and how the mind works and how you create from imagination, and then use your use my imagination more. I mean, I've been using it well when I was younger anyway, but use it more to create to write down exactly what you want. I think, that's another thing I should have done when I was younger, is write down exactly what I wanted, because I didn't do that until I was in my 30s. And then after that, things started happening. I started writing down more, and they started happening too. So yeah, that'd be the one of the biggest pieces of advice. Figure out what you want, write it down.
I think you should really, I don't know if it's on a podcast, but in some way, get that story out there of how you have done that and how it's worked for you. Because you hear a lot about people talking about manifesting and putting it out into the universe, but I don't think you hear enough of the success stories and actual real life people who are living that success from doing that. So it's a shame it's for another podcast, because I'd love to hear about it.
Well, I mean, we hope to have much more podcasts, and I think visions and manifestation, attraction, book reading, personal development needs to be key.
That's really what I love talking about. So yeah, pencil me in.
So if you'd come back on, and you'd be happy to come back on, we'd definitely love to have you back on.
Okay, definitely.
Thank you so much for your time.
Nice, thanks for your time.
Tell us where we can find you on your socials. Where's best for people to come find out more about Alex?
Okay, my Facebook is just facebook.com/Faleye, which is FALEYEA. and my Instagram, which alchemy, ALCHEMY.77.
Well, we'll continue to inspire, and you shared so much wisdom with us today. And I think Winnie will join me in saying that it's been really good talking to you. I think you've given us some real food for thought.
Failure at 40.
Failure at 40. Failure at 40. Failure at 40. Failure at 40. Failure at 40. Failure at 40.